Dr. Sam Amadi is here to look at some of these issues. Glad to have you join us on Newsnight, Dr. Sam.
Thank you.
Well, I had Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Abdullahi, here yesterday, and one of the issues we raised was the fact that Amadi has said that they can be in the PDP while working for another party, the coalition. Now, but the point currently is that the southeast of the PDP is not accepting Anyanwu, the secretary of the party. What does this portend for PDP?
Well, I think PDP is going through some very difficult times. The acting chairman's response to the coalition, the unveiling of ADC, was to say, I will give 24 hours or so for you guys to turn back, something that is laughable anyway. But the point is this: the major casualty is the Southeast now, the Southeast PDP. It's part of Anyanwu's merit in terms of how the Supreme Court. I'm very difficult to say who is right and wrong because the Supreme Court judgments are not very clear and basically not determinative. Supreme Court washed their hand, and I've argued that I think deference to political branch does not mean washing hand. If there's a dispute, then you have to say, this is what the party has made. But that's a different argument. In this context, if you look at the people who are opposed to either from the Southeast, the other group, they're made up of heavy hitters. The chairman of the BOT, the governor. In those days, PDP governors used to lead, so you assume that the governor is the leader of the PDP in Enugu State, and also in the region, because apparently PDP just have one governor now in Southeast, Enugu State. I think that's Mba is the only governor they have, I think, because Anambra is Abga, or Imo is APC, Ebo is APC, Abia is Labour. So in a sense, Mba is the leader of the party in the region by virtue of being, but of course the national secretary is higher in party hierarchy. But the point I'm trying to make is that the group that is protesting is heavy in terms of Mrs. Josephine Anene, top notch, who has been part of the party leadership for ages. You can see several of the big guys. And of course, so it means that if they walk away from the party, basically the party is dead. I mean, in the Southeast. Of course, you still have Sabanyanwu with a significant following, but not, in my own assessment, with the caliber of the people who founded the party, who you can call the original PDP. Again, another big plank of PDP, Hedon, had already left the party. So I think it's a bad time for the PDP.
It's not ADC.
ADC. It's a bad time for the PDP. And again, it's part of what the ADC becomes, because it's still a very troubled time for the formation. It's not a very clear, coherent, and orderly formation so far. You would say that the PDP perhaps will find themselves nationally playing third fiddle, anything like that, or fourth fiddle. Again, in the South is like now almost dead. They need to come back, and I think bringing a settlement to the crisis of the national secretary, bringing these guys together. And again, the other group can say, well, Anyanwu has perhaps only a couple of months if they follow the agreement. The problem with this is that nothing is really bankable, because the animosity, the craft, the deception that's part of this PDP crisis does not, 3 months is not big, but what they're fighting for, I've said it here several times, this is a polycentric. When we study disputes in university, talk about polycentric disputes. That disputes that are polycentric, different centers. So it's not like, okay, this is all about who is secretary. It's about whether PDP will fill the candidate against Tinubu. Because basically, the Anyanwu and Mr. Wike are all of the school of thought that Tinubu should have a show-in into the power. They don't want contestation. So they won't stop at settling, okay, Anyanwu, sign off your remaining months. They are going to stay in to get the outcome. The real outcome is to make sure PDP collapses and unable to offer a real contest in 2037. They're not hiding it. We can say, look, Tinubu must go in by all means. Then after 2027, we can now resolve it. So I think that it means that this is a crisis you wouldn't expect to resolve. So even if somebody says, okay, win-win, after 3 months, there's going to be a convention, and then we'll resolve it. I don't want tenure ends, then naturally. But the point is, even in constituting the convention process, you're going to see a real fight. So what I think will happen is that maybe the PDP Southeast will sit in and be part of another platform. You know, what one can say Wike is doing. Wike is still a PDP leader, strong one, entrenched, but also actually a Tinubu strongest supporter in FCT. So you're going to see perhaps the Southeast PDP, those leaders pull out fully or stay in, but basically
fight against
whatever flank of the Wike Samanyan group.
What do you think the party can do with that imbroglio? I mean, the Northeast separating themselves. How should the party, Southeast, I mean, how should the party be resolving that issue? I mean, among the several, PDP seems to have hydra-headed issues.
I think, like, first, constitutionally, I think it's not difficult to resolve. I mean, look at what happened with APC, how the chairman was asked to leave and left. Look at how Adam Shomolo left. Look at how the Yobe governor left. So in the last 3-4 years, APC has had transitions of leadership. None of those followed strictly the book, the rules. They didn't go to Supreme Court. So it's, if the whole zone asks Sawanyangu, for example, to step down, let's assume he has not exhausted his tenure, which is an argument that one can make based on the lack of clarity in the text. Because the text does not expressly say he must, resign before running for office. But conventionally, some argue that he ought to resign, whatever it is. But if the caucus, if the zone kind of feels strong about this for the past couple of many months, Satan can step down. We're talking about 3-4 months. Because you know what?
What do you know?
The reason why they're not stepping down, that's the point I'm making. That the answer could have been, okay, this is a caucus of the zone. They wanted to do this. So you say withdraw. The chairman of PDP, this chairman, Professor Ayu, resigned. Okay? The reason is that what is driving this is an incommensurable, irreconcilable, non-convergible difference around 2027. And so people are going to dig in. And the acting chairman is a lame duck and a terrible one, a sorry sight, because as an acting chairman, he's vacillating. His body is not even in the fight. So he could take over the party and say, you know what, drop out, but it's not going to do that.
What do you make of, before we go to Senator Udwan and trash that little issue, what do you make of the fact that Wike says the only party that can give APC a run for its money is PDP, with a caveat, if they can put their house in order? That's the caveat.
It's tongue-in-cheek. I mean, he doesn't want PDP to. He doesn't want PDP to give tongue-in-cheek. Clearly, he doesn't want PDP to give APC any fight. That's this. Look, there's no person who has more stake in APC victory than Wike. This is not just. We've seen people for that party work in government. This is not just working government.
What does this even do for party supremacy? He seems to be. He's in PDP. He's working for APC, and he's not. That's why Lobodio said what he says. If someone can stay, it's in PDP and work for APC, then we too can stay in PDP and work for.
I think the whole concept of party organization is totally deranged in Nigeria today because of the dysfunctional, almost like our politics has no resemblance to textbook. So a typical textbook politics. The reason why people go to parties is that they want to take over power. For their own party, they are aggregated around a common ideas, they associate and then they want to fight for power. But here we have people who are in a party but don't really want their party to win election because their own interest, for now, is contact their party's interest. It has no expression in textbook. 2, party supremacy is contentious. People say, well, party shouldn't be too supreme so that it allows for innovation, ideas. People can disagree within the party. But there's a limit, but I would like to talk about party structure. PDP has no organization, has no leadership. Party leaders can dispute over issues and policy platforms. But when party leaders are 360 degrees oppose each other, when they're not even working for their party, when they want the party to crumble. So the party is a victim of an overwhelming or highfalutin ambition for power. So the PDP is itself trapped. The PDP is a prisoner to very large ego, very unquenchable thirst for power. So PDP, that should be a platform, is now a victim. So party supremacy doesn't make any sense here, because there's no party in the real organic sense of political theory. Or political science talks about political parties as a platform where people aggregate the same value, vision, mobilize people to contest for power on the basis of alternatives. That doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah, before I let you go, you had me read the issue of Amadi. She says she's coming back to the Senate on Monday following the court decision, but the senators have not even received the CTC copy. Can she do that?
Oh, I mean, look, this is all about conflict. Otherwise, she probably should wait and get this served on the leadership properly, and then properly enter. But look, this is a war that she's ready to fight. But again, if you look at the court decision, I struggle to find out whether the court first also found her. Court says you have the power, okay, which is a plus. Because most judges say the National Assembly can't discipline anybody. That's wrong. That's wrong. Constitutional law, they have the power. The question the court is too long, and the court calculated it based on how many days, which is not really so. But again, if you look at the U.S., parliaments can sack you for life. Parliaments can sack their members. They do that in America all the time. But the point here is, I think the proper thing is for her to give a letter, for example, I'm returning back to my work. And then, of course, they serve them. And they allow her to come in and sit. So if the court has ordered that she should resume, she should resume. But again...
No, the court didn't order that she should resume.
The court says she should apologize. The court says the length is too long, which means...
That's what the court says.
So,
the court is not even saying that...
You should go back.
No.
The narrative, that's the problem with... First, courts release judgment. It takes time before the written script comes out.
The CTC.
This kind of cases, before the court delivers judgment, it should be on the website. As soon as the judge is finishing, boom. So people can read. So the narrative goes out, oh, court has, I'm going back. I read it, the report I got from newspaper, I've not read the judgment, doesn't suggest to me something determinative and binding. But that is what we are in this age now. In many of the cases, we don't know what the court actually decides. And the newspapers report what they think the court decides.
And speculation.
And then, self-help comes in. If you are strong and you move in and occupy the party office and says, yes, Supreme Court is for me. The other person says, Supreme Court is for me, and nobody knows who Supreme Court was.
Like label. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sam Amadi, Abuja School of Thought here, for allowing us to speak your brain on the program.